What's up? What's up? What's up? I am Zakia Monique, master relationship strategist, transformational speaker, and best-selling author of Killer Connections. Listen, we are here tonight to talk about child support. Is it a necessary tool or is it a dangerous weapon? Let me say hey to everybody because this is going to be a little touchy one. Okay, so I'm going to have to give out some disclaimers and everything because I already seen some folks talk about they was triggered, and I'm like, don't start that now. Don't start y'all triggers because we ain't talking about y'all. We talking about the people in the video. But I do understand that people relate to their situation with stuff like this, and this is a touchy thing. You know, this is a touchy thing because it gets to talking about who's wrong, who's right, whose responsibility it is to do this, that, and the third. So anyway, we are going to talk about it tonight. So hello, good evening. Good evening. Hello. We're talking about child support. Is it a necessary tool or is it a dangerous weapon? So, what happened? Okay, so there's a viral video, and that video is of a wife putting her husband out because he pays $500 a month in child support. So, if I'm looking to the side, I have my notes here because I want to make sure I have everything right. Well, anyway, he's paying $500 a month in child support regularly, I assume, every month. And the child's mother asked for some shoes for the child. Okay, so the wife feels like, nah, she need to get that out of that 500, right? Now, here's the thing. The father wanted to buy the shoes, right? So he was like, that's my child, and I don't care nothing about no $500. My baby needs some shoes. I'm gonna get my baby some shoes. And the wife was like, no. So let's talk disclaimers first, because people get to getting in my inboxes and stuff and like stop being weird. Okay. There are some facts that we do not know. Okay. And some things that would help us, we would, it would make a big difference to know like the age of the child. I mean, sometimes that do matter, right? Because you can't say nothing to me about no $500 and you got a child that eat like Shaq and got a shoe like Shaq. Okay, because that $500 gone in the first 5 days of the month. Get out of here. Okay. This is my opinion and perspective only. You can share yours in the comments. It's no problem with that. If we disagree, that's okay, but we won't be disrespectful. So let's be clear on that. And if you are triggered, watch this a little bit at a time. Okay. So just watch it a little bit at a time if you trigger, because don't start that, I call it dry dropping. Don't start that dry dropping and sneak dissing on here. Right. We're not gonna do that. We're talking about the people that uploaded their stuff on social media, right? So we're talking about them. Stay focused, all right? Because we don't know your facts. We don't know we don't know the facts. So I want to talk about the points to share, all right? So the video I watched was 3 minutes and 12 seconds. All right, so I want to make that clear. The video that I watched was 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So if there was a longer video, I'm not talking about that because I didn't see that. The video opened with the husband saying the bleep that I got to deal with. Bleep is, the cuss word. He says, it's like I got to choose between my child and my marriage. This ish is getting old. The wife then interrupts him and says that he pays $500 a month and she should be able to get the shoes out of that. Ain't no extras, ain't no clothes, ain't no toys, ain't no shoes. She shouldn't have taken the child support. You ain't got to do nothing else other than what's being paid, and she ain't getting nothing else. And he says, you shouldn't feel like that. If my child needs some shoes, I'm going to get my child some shoes. She said, F that child and F him. All right. Okay. All right. She said, F him and F his child. Okay. Then it flips to another angle of the bedroom where she tells him he ain't getting them shoes. And he says it ain't taking nothing out of your money. Okay, that's a big clue. He says if you were in this situation, you would want me to buy the shoes. Then it shows her packing his stuff. They continue to argue, and once again, she says, F you, F that child, and F that child's mother. I'm going to put my glasses down one more time because she said F him and that child again. Then she asks why the child's stepfather can't buy him some shoes. And the husband says it's not his responsibility. And she says, well, if he married her, he took on the child too. Okay. Then she antagonizes the husband by saying he's probably calling him, the stepfather, daddy anyway. Okay, and then the video ends. So I'm only commenting on the 3 minute, 12-second video that I saw. So let's get into it. Let me start with the intro. Let's get into it. Let me start with the intro. Unfortunately, in our society, child support is both a necessary tool for those who move along and act like they ain't got no family. It's unfortunate, but they move along and act like they ain't got no family. They don't want to deal with her. And I'm not talking about a situation where the mother is making it hard, because we do have those situations, but I'm talking about a situation where he moves along, he finds somebody else, and he decides to build another whole family. And he like, you're going to have to go ahead and get it how you live, sis. And she ain't doing nothing to him to, block him from seeing his children, be around his children, or any of that stuff. And sometimes men are bitter too. Let's be clear. It's not always the women that are bitter. We got some bitter Bobs out here, just like we got some bitter Bettys. Sometimes them bitter Bobs, okay, will move along and not take care of the child because the woman don't want them, just like vice versa. Okay. So in that type of situation, it may be a necessary tool. But then it is a dangerous weapon used by mothers who have residual issues from the relationships or use it as a mechanism of control. Okay. So I believe personally that the court system shouldn't have to get involved in how two people who made the child take care of the child. That's how I feel. I mean, I don't understand why we can't come to a consensus on how we're going to take care of this child. We may not agree on everything, but we got to come up with a way to handle this, because we got a co-parent even if we're not going to be together. I'll tell you about me. I have never filed a child support case. I've never requested child support. As a matter of fact, I declined child support. But my ex put himself on child support, so I have received it. And this is why I never asked for no child support, nothing like that, because my grandmother taught us that as surely as you push that child out, it is yours. Yes, it's his too, but as surely as you push that child out, there is a mindset that mothers have to do extra. There is a mindset that mama's baby, daddy's maybe, whatever. There's a mindset that if he don't do it, mama, you got to do it. Is it right? I ain't saying it's right, but I'm telling you it's real. Okay. And so my grandma said, as surely as you push that child out, it's yours. Be prepared to take care of that child, whether or not he's there or not. And so that's how she taught us. And that's what we learned. Like, this is my baby. I'm going to take care of my baby. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to, keep my baby from you or nothing like that. But I'm already prepared to take care of my child no matter what. And I'm not finna bellyache and whine and cry about taking care of my child, because I already expected to do so, with or without you. If you there, we're going to take care of the child together. If you not, I'm going to take care of my child regardless. Lord's will, with the Lord's help. So FYI, my mother retired from the child support system. So I know a whole lot about the child support system and, both sides of the story, because there are some good fathers, unfortunately, that get towed down by bitter Bettys. And there are some good mothers that go through HE double hockey sticks fooling with bitter Bobs. So I know both sides of it, okay? And I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm going to be talking to the ladies and the fellas tonight, okay? Because I'm equal opportunity like that. Y'all know that, all right? So let's talk points. And we're talking points concerning this video, okay? And the facts that we do know about the video. So point number 1, this is not new. This is an ongoing issue that they've been having. Okay, so from the video, this is not new. This is an ongoing issue. Why? Because in the beginning of the video, he said it was getting old. So fellas, stop marrying women who show you that they have issues with your children before you even get married with her. Fellas, stop marrying women who show you early that they have issues with your children even before y'all get married. Because whatever you go to the altar knowing about a person, you can't complain about it. You just can't. Now, if they deceived you, different story. But if you already knew she was filthy, funky, and foul when it came to your kids, and her attitude was foul when it came to your kids, and she picked you in the middle and was petty when it came to your kids, then don't complain about it now. Because you knew that she was that type. You knew you were going to be stuck in the middle. You knew she was going to be petty. You knew she was not going to be a mother figure. You knew she was not going to bond with them. You knew she was going to be petty as ever. Why do y'all be so surprised when she's this way afterwards, when she was that way before? She's been that way all along. What's the surprise? Why are we surprised? As I often say, there is no such thing as stepchildren. This is the type of stuff that you need to know when y'all dating and getting exclusive. Let me meet your kids. Let me spend some time around your kids, because I might just not want to be bothered with them. That's just the real. I might not want to be bothered with your kids. You know, and at the end of the day, that's a choice. That's a choice. That's something that you can choose to say, I don't want that, and walk away during that time. But don't go get married and then try to sever or cause a division between him and his children. That's out of order. Vice versa. It's out of order. Because you knew. By the time you get married to somebody, you ought to know. And if you didn't know, shame on you. We got bigger issues. All right. So as I often say, there is no stepchildren. When you marry him, you inherit them. Just like you do all his other stuff, good or bad. So when you're talking about our house and our car and our money, our children. Because ain't no step money. Ain't no step house. Ain't no step car. So why is there step kids? Maybe it's just me. I do understand that blended families can be tough, though. I get it. Blended families can be very hard. Because sometimes the mama, you know, the mama can be a little bitter, and she programmed the kids, because the kids gonna roll with the mama initially, you know, for the most part. They're gonna roll with mama, you know, because that's what they know, unless mama just really messed up and just jacked up to them. But for the most part, they're gonna roll with mama, right? So that, you know, it's gonna be some issues. So I do understand that blended families can be tough, because oftentimes that man or that woman done told that ex that they were going to live happily ever after. And somewhere along the lines, somebody decided it was going to be some plans change. And maybe you didn't communicate that to her, or maybe she wasn't ready to let you go, or maybe she just feel like, you know, you took my life away and my dreams away, whatever the case is. Then sometimes those mothers start to pit those children against you, and so on and so forth. My parents loved each other. When I say loved each other, I was a love child. And so my parents fought like heck, and I was caught in the middle. A lot of times I would go with my daddy, and my dad, when I would come back from my daddy, my mama would be like, "What your daddy? Where y'all go? Where y'all do?" And I'd be like, "Bruh," I felt like I was being interrogated. Like, sis, ask him, because I don't even know if I'm supposed to be telling you this. Kids are caught in the middle because, you know, they don't know if they're supposed to be telling you this. And they're like, "Don't tell your mama, don't tell your daddy." You got all this type of stuff going on. The kids got all this pressure because they stuck in the middle. All because y'all didn't work out, right? So all of that stuff is hard. It's hard to blend. That's why you have to decide if this is what you want to do. I don't care how good the ooh and an is. I don't care how good everything else is, but you got to decide if this is what you want to do, because you can't just take this piece out of the equation. You can't. You got to take this too. But here's the thing. I'll talk about me. I can't have no weak man. I just can't. I can't be bothered with no weak man. I can't be bothered with a male, because here is where the difference comes in. When you have a man and those children are disrespectful, he checks them. He checks that child's mother. He checks them. But when you got somebody who is weak and who's a beta male, or who's scary, or who's whatever, or you know, or who vacillating, and I can't have nobody weak. I got to have somebody who will put whoever in their place about me, wherever, whenever, because I'm gonna do the same. Okay, I can't have nobody that's weak and can't put people in their lanes. I can't. Because if I got to take the lead there, then I'm gonna feel like I got to take the lead everywhere. No, sir. No, sir. You gonna have to direct this traffic, because these are your children. Just like I'm gonna make sure my children are respectful, right? My children gonna be respectful to my husband. Because you ain't finna stress mine out. Not so. I didn't say your bae, your boo, your husband comes first. Not your bae, not your boo, but your husband. Because if you didn't believe that man could lead you and your children, why did you marry him? I'm still waiting on somebody to answer that question for me. Because I've had so many young ladies tell me that don't nobody come before my kids come first, and I'm okay with that. Because that's what you're going to end up with, is your kids. And if that's okay with you, that's okay with me. But here's what I want to tell you. If you have a full-grown man that come in here and take care of you, them kids, and whoever else, that dog, that cat, and whatever else, Ain't no way nobody should be stressing him out because that's my protector, that's my provider, that's my love, that's my man. And you ain't fit to stress him out, not today, not tomorrow, not the next day, neither. It ain't looking good for you. It ain't finna happen. You ain't finna stress mine out. Because at the end of the day, when them kids going on about their business, you're gonna be sitting there with him if he's still there. So that man is responsible for setting the tone for how those children will interact with you. If it is not respectfully, he should be checking them. He should be having conversations with their mother. He should be putting people in their lanes. He should be putting people in their lanes. When you marry, your mate comes first. But together, you're supposed to provide for, protect, instill values in, and guide the children into lanes that allow them to be somebody else's first so they can go out and get their own relationships. But many of us are out of order. Out of order. And we see that in this video. It's a whole order issue. It's an order problem. Okay. Now, another angle is, though it's not proven, so I'm not saying this was in the video, but let me say this. Usually women that are this mad and this adamant, especially about that much money, like them shoes wasn't finna cost a lot. I mean, unless his foot as big as Shaq or something, you know. And I didn't hear him mention that the shoes was gonna be, or her mention that the shoes was gonna be, you know, $300, $400, $500. So anytime a woman is this mad or this adamant, there are some underlying issues that are deeper than what we've seen in the video. Okay. So either number one, she has caught him cheating with that woman before. And fellas, let me tell y'all this. Half of the hell that y'all go through with your exes is your own fault because you still tipping and dipping, sliding and riding with her. You need to cut it off and maybe she'll cut it out. I'm going to say that one more time for the section in the back that ain't cleaned their ears today. Half of the hell that y'all go through is y'all own fault. Because y'all still tipping and dipping, sliding and gliding, and skinning and grinning, all in her face. You out here, hey, you thick. You out here complimenting and you out here entertaining, and then you expect her to act good and right when y'all sitting up at the awards assembly for y'all child. She looking up at you like you was just in my face the other day. Now she got feelings. She already feels some kind of way because y'all not together. And then you was just all in my face making me think it might be a chance. And then all of a sudden now you with your wife and now you're looking straight ahead. Oh, you looking straight ahead like somebody done called your name. Now you don't see me. Cut it off and maybe she'll cut it out. I ain't saying she definitely will, but maybe she will. Half of the hell y'all get is your own fault. Sometimes maybe that guy had that baby on her. And now in her view, that little bastard ain't getting nothing. I ain't saying that's what happened, but I'm telling you, anytime a woman is that mad and adamant about a man buying some shoes for his child, it's some underlying issues there. Either he didn't call him cheating with that mama, or maybe that baby was born on her. And she like, oh, that little bastard ain't getting nothing. But ladies, let me address you. Let me address you about those type of situations. If you choose to remain, the baby is innocent. If you choose to, what amazes me is how you will forgive him and hate the child and the mother. But he's the one you got the commitment with. Can anybody help me with that? Can anybody help me with that? How is it that you hate the child, you hate the mother, but you still remain and love and cater to and lay up with the one who you had the connection to, the one who broke your vow? You still lay up and love on him, but you hate the child, which is an extension of him, whether you like it or not. You hate the mother, you hate all of them, but you restore him. How? If you choose to remain, the baby is innocent. My ex, and I'll tell you, I'm telling you from experience, I'm telling you what I know. My ex had a daughter 21 days. 21 days before my daughter was born. 21. My ex had a baby, a daughter, 21 days before my daughter was born in the same hospital. Did you hear me? I overheard the nurses whispering, like, wasn't he just here with another girl? I overheard it. But I shopped for that baby for Christmas like I shopped for mine because I chose to remain. That baby ain't had nothing to do with it. Baby ain't had nothing to do with it. I'm not saying you got to be like me, but why hate the children? Because they the most innocent aspect of the whole thing. They didn't ask to be here, and they too small to take care of themselves. They can't go to the store and buy their own shoes. They can't drive themselves to the store, whip out their car. What the kids got to do with it? Even when that girl turned about 14 years old, I still was taking her with my child. And I wasn't even with her daddy anymore. I still say, hey, let's go on to the outlet and get you some shoes too and some pants too. When I took my daughter, I still took her. Why? Because I am a woman. I'm a woman. You can say what you want, but I'm a woman. And what I understand is, if I got a problem with this person, I'm not going to take it out on this person. That's a child. I'm a woman. Even when it's hard to be a woman, I'm still a woman. I ain't perfect, but I'm still a woman. And many of us will holler that we grown until it's time to do grown things. We will holler that we grown until it's time to apologize. We will holler that we grown until it's time to take accountability. We will holler that we grown, until it's time to really put in some work and really do some things that maybe. You always said, I ain't never doing that. Couldn't be me. But we grown. Bottom line, no matter how hard blending families can be, understand the kids grow up and eventually they're going to see who the problem is. Trust me. If you don't trust nothing else, know that kids always grow up. And when they start to get in relationships of their own, they know who the problem was. But the test of all of this will reveal the strength of your relationship and your bond. And that's really the problem. The problem is sometimes you realize that your bond, as soon as it's tested, is whack. You find out that you married somebody that's whack. You find out you married somebody that didn't care nothing about you or them kids. You find out that you married somebody and y'all foundation is beyond repair. It's cracked it's all cracked up. And that's really the problem. You ain't got no foundation. You ain't got nothing to stand on. And situations like this come to show you what a person really is about. Because the kids are innocent. So let me go to the next point. The next point is, depending on how old the child is and what the child is involved in, $500 is not a lot of money, okay, to raise a child. It's not a lot of money, period. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live in Oklahoma, Alabama. They have some, decent cost of living. It still ain't a lot, okay? And no, it should not only be his money raising the child. Ladies, you should still be working and doing your part to survive too and paying your part. He is not paying for you to be a stay-at-home mom. You need to apply for alimony. It's way too many women trying to live off his money that he's giving to those kids as a stay-at-home mom. No. You can't be no stay-at-home mom unless you got to go to work dad. Enough is enough. The USDA, y'all know how I feel about statistics in the government, but whatever. The USDA says that it costs $12,980 per year to raise a child, and that's considered to be basic or poverty. That comes out to $1,081.67 a month. So, baby, tell me again what $500 finna do. That's his half. And she's going to have to pay her half. And that's still poverty. So whether little Junior is an infant or a 15-year-old with a shack-sized foot and appetite, $500 is not finna, she's not finna go buy no Maserati with that. I'm so amazed sometimes what guys be thinking that women be buying with this money. Okay? Listen, some of them do misuse it or whatever, but she is not going to Disney World and Disneyland and buying Maybachs with this money. Like, guys will pay $200 a month and swear she's going to get a Maybach with it. Well, sir, I need you to adjust your expectations here a little bit. Consider the basic needs. Consider medical expenses and dental expenses. Heck, my son got to have 3 teeth pulled. Like 3 teeth pulled on top of the braces that we just paid. Hey, $500 ate up. We don't know if the mother is always asking for stuff or not, but we do know that there's a continuous issue because the wife, the husband always feels like he's stuck in the middle. Okay, so there's a continuous issue when it comes to him caring for his son. And that's a problem, not just in their marriage, but that's a problem, period, because there should never be a problem with taking care of your kid and your responsibilities, whether they're in the house or not. Now, if it's putting an impact on the finances of the house, okay, we have a conversation about that. Okay. But he said clearly that it was not taken away from her money, which means that him buying those shoes will not take away from his household. That means the shoes should have already been bought, took over there, and let's move on. Let's have dinner. You know, be there with t-shirt and panties on when you get back or whatever. Because to me, that type of stuff turns me on. When I see you responsible and you a man, that is a turn on to me. It is a turn on to me to see you take care of your children and your responsibilities and take care of me as your wife. That is a turn on to me. I don't understand why so many women are okay, or I won't even call them women. So many females are okay with a man that will sit there or a male that will sit there and not take care of his kids. They okay with that. That is weird to me. Because if he'll do that to her, he will also do that to your child because those are children. What did the child do that will cause him not to take care of the child? And I'm not talking about no disrespectful behavior, but I'm talking about what did a child do that will make him walk away and turn away and not take care of that child? Come on now, we got to be, come on. If you are all right with walking away from your seed, and I'm talking about not because of no drama, no issues, or nothing like that. I'm talking about you just okay because you found a new family. I don't need that type of energy. I'm straight. I don't need that type of leadership. Okay. So yeah, that's not that wouldn't work for me. So there's some underlying issues, some real underlying issues there. Let me take you to the next point. There's a huge respect and order issue in the marriage that spills over into everything else. See, here's the thing: whatever happens to the spouse, whatever happens to the two spouses, you know, to the husband and wife, whatever happens between the husband and wife, because they are leaders of the family, impacts the entire family. Okay, it impacts the entire family. This woman said "F the child and him" not once but twice. Now, I believe in the Bible. If you don't, that's cool. But the Bible says for husbands to love their wives and wives should honor or respect their husbands. Now, here's the thing, ladies, we do not have any business marrying a man that we know we do not respect. Now, I'm not going to tell you that there may not be things that happen in a marriage that will cause you to be disappointed in his leadership and will cause your, respect for him to be a little shaky. But ain't no way I'm going to the altar with somebody, okay, as a woman. Now, when I was wounded, all right. But as a woman that has now been healed, I'm not walking to the altar with nobody that I can't respect. Because I understand that men's love language is respect. I'm not talking about the 5 love languages, but they need respect. They need respect like we need love, ladies. Hear me clearly. No matter how many TikTok views, no matter how many YouTube subscribers, no matter how many Facebook friends I have, I must have someone who can protect, inspect, respect, and correct me when I need it. I can't have no fan. I got to have somebody who can protect, inspect, respect, and correct me when I need it. That's why so many folks get beside themselves, because they're surrounded by fans. They're not surrounded by nobody that can keep them grounded. Too many of us are laying with and marrying boys and males that we cannot respect. And fellas, if she does not respect and take care of you, what makes you think that she will respect and take care of the extensions of you, which are your children? I'm so amazed at how some of these men will pass away abruptly. Things will happen, and the women will be in control and will dog those outside kids, or dog those kids that are outside the home that he may have had before her. Will act like those kids don't even exist. But sir, that's who you left in charge. When you looking at a woman, fellas, that's all the stuff you should be thinking about. In your absence, you don't even have to die. In your absence, how will she treat your kids? In your absence, will she care for your children? In your absence, will she care for your finances? In your absence, will she care for the things that you care for? How does she care for you? That's a good indication of how she's going to care for the extensions of you. But if you talk to the man like that woman talked to that man like that in front of the world. She knew he was taping, and she knew he was going to tape that. He was going to share that. So if you talk to that man like that in front of the world, what kind of dignity he going to have left? And how will you be able to check someone about him? Because, baby, you don't even respect him. See, when you see family members come up in a house and not reverence the man or woman of that house, ask yourself, who has often been their first example of disrespect to that spouse? I guarantee you it's the other spouse. If her mama come up in that house and don't speak, don't care nothing about that man, go to that refrigerator, talk to them kids, and do whatever she want to do. I guarantee you that her daughter laid the foundation for that. If that man, mother, sister, or whoever come up in that house and disregard his wife or whatever, I guarantee you she has seen him disrespect her first. This is why we have to be careful. Because when they see us disrespect our spouse, they're like, oh, this is what we do. She packed his stuff up to put him out. How do you put the king out of the castle? How you put the protection out? How you put the king out of the castle? Even if it was her home first, when they moved in and they became one, it became their home. It became their home. So if you're mad, get in your car and take a drive. Come back and address it when cooler heads prevail. But what makes you think a man is going to remain in a place where you put him out of every time he does not do what you want him to do? I had to learn this. I'll tell you about me. I'll tell you about me. I've had to learn this. I have to be reminded of certain things sometimes. Even with my love and my presence in a relationship, you cannot always be willing to just quit. Because how you think it's going to make that other person feel? I've had to learn this. I'm telling y'all what I know. But it's easy when you're afraid or when you're controlling, because when you feel out of control, the only way to get it back is to use what you have. But that's not healthy. And it's heavy. Then, as if everything else she had said and done already was not enough, she hit below the belt at the end of the video and said that the son was probably calling stepfather daddy. Now, see, we got to learn how to fight. We got to learn how to listen. Arguing, conflict is fine. Conflict is inevitable. We're going to have conflict as surely as we're two different people. We're going to have conflict, but you do not have to fight. You do not have to argue. You do not have to, you don't have to. You don't have to fight, is what I mean. You don't have to hit below the belt. That's out of order. She antagonized him to try to pit. So when you sow discord, that's evil. That's one of the things God says he hates. He hates a person that sows discord among brethren. And then I want to get to the point before I end this broadcast. The point that really, really hit me. She said that when the stepfather took the mother, he took the child too. My question, if anybody know her, is, ma'am, when you took him, didn't you do the same? If you gonna say that when that stepfather took that mother, he took the child too, well, when you took that man, you took the child too. And let me help you out, because maybe he did have that child on her. So maybe that child wasn't around when they first got married, and he went out and was tipping and dipping with that woman and had that baby by her, and got found out, and now the woman bitter. Maybe that's what happened. And if that's the case, if you chose to remain, then you accepted the child then too. And that might be hard to hear, and it might be hard to deal with, but you did. If you choose to stay with him, then you're still accepting it. You're accepting it. So we cannot have double standards. We cannot expect the stepfather to buy him shoes, but the stepmother didn't. Because if the stepfather can buy some shoes, then sis, you could buy him some shoes too. But all of this goes back to the choices that we make when we sliding down that aisle. Because let me tell y'all something. There are some people that really want marriages. But then there are some people out here that want weddings. And you got to know the difference between somebody who just wants a wedding and a whole bunch of attention, and somebody who is really ready for a commitment with you, who ready to rock it out with you, who ready to support you as you find your purpose, and who's ready to find their purpose with you. It's a total difference. There's somebody who really just wanted to show her up and get your last name, or who really just wanted to have a whole show of a wedding. But after that, they were not interested in being a wife. Some of us, as I put on my Facebook status, some of us are way too eager to be wives, but we haven't become women yet. And that's a problem, because being a wife at some point is going to require you to be a woman. You hear me? It's going to require you to bite your tongue sometimes and not always have the last word. That's hard. It's hard. I'm going to say one more thing. do. And sometimes I do, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But you understand me? It requires you to compromise sometimes, not your dignity, not your health, not that stuff. But sometimes it requires you to say, you know what, maybe my way is not the only way, or maybe my way is not the best way. It can't always be about you. I've never seen a generation of people that were so excited to be full of attitude. You know, I saw a meme one day that says, he said, leave or change my attitude. Where my bag at? Are you serious? You know you got an attitude, you know you got issues, and you don't want to change them for the sake of being with somebody that love you? I'm willing. Like I said, I'm willing. It ain't gonna cost me my dignity, but I'm willing. You see what I'm saying? It ain't always easy. You ain't perfect, but come on now. We too eager to just be out here with attitudes and hard to deal with and out of order. And most of it is because we have pain in our hearts, unaddressed. And pain that's unaddressed becomes part of your personality. It's the truth. So whether your issue is control or financial or what have you, you have to check yourself anytime, ladies, that you are content with a man not taking care of his kids. That's a no-no. Because you should always be proud of not just the husband that he is, but the father that he is too. All right, so that's my perspective. If you share it, hey, let me know what you feel in the comments. And if you don't, hey, let me know what you feel in the comments, but let's just be respectful. And at the end of the day, I pray for this couple. I pray that they get it together, but they need to go to counseling or get some help, because you can't keep going on like that and think that that's going to, manifest into anything good. Okay, that's just not good for her to be talking to him like that. Like, a man gonna need to feel respect. And if he not, he gonna go where he find it, where he finds some respect. And so ultimately, I don't see how he could have any level of peace in that, right? He just can't. So I love you guys so very much. Y'all know that though, right? You know that though. So I want you to have a great evening. You already know how. On purpose. God bless.